Hey, Vikings faithful. Skull Nation, rise up. It's your boy here with the hottest Minnesota Vikings news you didn't know you needed today. Picture this. 14 wins in 2024. A season that had a screaming skull from the rooftops, only to get knocked out in the wild card round like a punch to the gut. But hold on to your horns, because there's a rumor swirling that could flip the script for our purple and gold. Could Sauce Gardner, the New York Jets superstar cornerback, be headed to Minnesota? Now, before we dive in, let's set the stage. The Vikings were a force last season. Offense clicking, defense grinding, 14-3 record that had us dreaming of Super Bowl glory. But that playoff loss? Oof, it stung. It showed us we're close, but not quite there. So what's the buzz? Lou Scatalia from the Viking age dropped a bombshell idea. A blockbuster trade to snag Sauce Gardner and turn our secondary into a nightmare for every QB in the NFC North. Are you ready to unpack this with me? Here's the teaser that's got my blood pumping. Imagine Sauce Gardner, a 24-year-old all-pro phenom, locking down receivers in purple next to Byron Murphy Jr. That's not just a secondary. That's a brick wall. But is this real or just fan fiction? Stick with me as we break it down, piece by piece, with all the passion of a US Bank Stadium roar. Let's get into it. Last season was a roller coaster, wasn't it? We crushed it with 14 wins, showing the league that the Vikings are no joke. Offense was firing on all cylinders, and our defense held its own, until the playoffs hit us like a cold Minnesota winter. That wild card exit left a sour taste, and it's clear we need a spark to take us from great to unstoppable. Enter Lou Scatalia, a Vikings insider who's got us all buzzing. He's floating the idea of a monster trade with the New York Jets to bring Sauce Gardner to Minnesota. Why? Because our secondary, while solid, could use a game changer. Gardner's the kind of player who doesn't just cover receivers, he erases them. Imagine him in purple, shutting down the likes of Justin Jefferson's rivals week after week. But here's the kicker. The Jets might actually consider this. Their new GM, Darren Moogie, could be looking to stack draft picks and rebuild instead of shelling out $30 million a year for a cornerback. With QB drama and an shaky O-line in New York, trading Gardner might make sense for them, but for us, it's a dream come true. What do you think, Skull fam? Is this the move we need? Let's talk about Sauce Gardner for a sec. He's not just good, he's elite. Back in 2022, his rookie year, he led the NFL with 20 passes defended, earning first-team All-Pro honors. Then in 2023, he did it again, another All-Pro nod, Pro Bowl trip, and a Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 90.8. This guy's a lockdown artist, and he's only 24. Now, 2024 wasn't his flashiest season. 49 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pick, 9 passes defended, and a 73.1 coverage grade. Not his best, sure, but still better than most corners in the league. A down year for Sauce is still a career year for others. That's the kind of talent we're talking about. A young stud who's already proven he can dominate. Pair him with Byron Murphy Jr., who we just locked up in free agency, and what do you get? The best cornerback duo in football, hands down. Murphy's a ball hawk, Sauce is a shutdown king. Together, they'd make our defense a fortress. Can you picture it? Aaron Rodgers throwing into double coverage and regretting it instantly? I'm getting chills. So why would the Jets even think about letting go of a guy like Gardner? It's all about the money and the future. Sauce is still under team control for 2 more years, but he's extension eligible, and word is he wants to be the highest paid corner in the NFL. Think $25 million or more per year. That's a big check to write. New York's got bigger fish to fry. Their quarterback situation is a mess. Do they stick with Aaron Rodgers or start over? Plus, their offensive line needs serious help. New GM Darren Moogie might see trading Gardner as a way to stockpile draft picks, maybe a couple of first-rounders, to rebuild the roster his way. It's a gamble, but it's not crazy. For the Vikings, though, this is a no-brainer. We're closer to contention than the Jets are. 14 wins prove that. Adding Gardner could be the missing piece to get us past the wild-card round and into the deep playoff run we've been craving. Are you buying this logic? Or do you think the Jets would never let him go? Hit me up in the comments. Let's rewind to 2024 for a minute. Our Vikings were a juggernaut. 14-3, tearing through the NFC North like it was nothing. Sam Darnold was slinging it, Aaron Jones was running wild, and our defense was bending but not breaking. We had every reason to believe this was our year. Then came the playoffs. Wildcard round and boom, we're out. It wasn't just a loss. It was a wake-up call. As good as we weren't good enough when it mattered most. That's why this Sauce Gardner rumor has me so fired up. It's the kind of bold move that could push us over the edge. Think about it. Our secondary was solid last year, but not elite. Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, they're free agents now, and while Murphy's back, we need another star. Gardner's that guy. He's young, he's hungry, and he's got the skills to make us a Super Bowl threat. Are you feeling the hype yet? Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What would it take to pull off a trade this big? The Jets aren't giving up Sauce Gardner for peanuts. He's a cornerstone player. We're talking at least a first-round pick, maybe two, plus some extra goodies like a third-rounder or a young talent. It's a steep price, but worth it. Minnesota's GM, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, loves making splashy moves. Remember trading up for J.J. McCarthy in 2024? He's not afraid to go big, and with only 4 picks in the 2025 draft right now, he might be itching to shake things up. Trading for Gardner could mean sacrificing some future assets, but it's a win-now move for a team that's already knocking on the door. The question is, do we have the cap space and the guts to make it happen? Gardner's current deal is cheap for now, but that extension looms large. Vikings fans, would you trade a couple of first-rounders for a guy like Sauce? Let's debate it. Drop your trade ideas below. Here's where it gets juicy. Sauce Gardner in purple isn't just a roster upgrade. It's a statement. Imagine him lining up against the Packers' Christian Watson or the Lions' Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those guys are studs, but Gardner's the type to make them disappear. Our NFC North rivals would hate us even more, and I'm here for it. Picture this, Week 1, 2025, US Bank Stadium rocking, and Gardner picks off Jordan Love in the end zone. The crowd goes wild, Skol chants echoing, and we know we've got something special. That's the kind of play that changes a season, and Gardner's got that in his DNA. 9 passes defended in 2024 alone prove it. But here's the suspense. Will the Jets actually pull the trigger? They've got him locked up through 2026 with that 5th-year option, so they don't have to trade him. Are they really ready to rebuild? Or is this all just hot air? I need your take, Vikings Nation. What's your gut telling you? Let's zoom out and look at the Vikings' big picture. After 14 wins, we're not rebuilding, we're reloading. J.J. McCarthy's our QB of the future. Justin Jefferson's the best receiver in the game, and our defense is already nasty with Brian Flores calling the shots. Gardner fits like a glove. Flores loves versatile, high IQ players, and Sauce is exactly that. In 2022 and 2023, he posted coverage grades of 90 and 90.8, numbers that scream Flores guy. Pair him with Murphy, who's coming off a strong year, and suddenly our pass defense goes from good to suffocating. We gave up the 5th most passing yards in 2024. Gardner could fix that overnight. The stakes are high, though. If we pull this off, we're all in for a Super Bowl run in 2025. But if it falls apart, we're stuck dreaming again. What's your confidence level in this rumor, fam? Are we one piece away? Or is this too good to be true? Now, let's talk about the Jets side of this. New York's a mess. 3-14 in 2024, QB uncertainty, and a fan base that's fed up. Darren Moogie's stepping in as GM, and he's got a tough job. Fix a roster that's miles from contention. Trading Gardner could give him the draft capital to start over. Sauce isn't cheap, though. He's due for a massive extension soon, and $30 million a year is a lot when your offense can't score. Moogie might see this as a chance to cash in, maybe snag our 2025 first-rounder, number 24 overall, and more. For a team that's rebuilding, that's tempting. But here's the twist. Gardner's their best player. Trading him could tank morale even further. Jets fans are already clowning the idea on X, saying it's crazy to let him go. Do you think New York's desperate enough to do this? Or are they holding on to their star? Weigh in below. Let's dream big for a second. If the Vikings land Gardner, our 2025 defense could be legendary. Picture this. Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave up front, pressuring QBs, while Gardner and Murphy lock down the back end. That's a recipe for chaos, and I'm drooling just thinking about it. Last year, we added those 2 defensive tackles in free agency, and they're already game changers. Add Sauce to the mix, and we're not just stopping teams, we're humiliating them. 9 passes defended in 2024 might not scream peak Sauce, but in Flores' scheme, he'd feast. Can you see it, Vikings fans? The suspense is killing me. Is this the year we finally break through? A trade like this could be the spark. 14 wins last year, a playoff win this time, maybe more. What's your bold prediction if we get him? Let's get wild in the comments. Okay, let's ground this in reality. This Sauce Gardner trade? It's a rumor, not a done deal. Lou Scatalia's idea is spicy, but there's no official word from the Vikings or Jets. I checked Vikings.com and the latest posts on X. Nothing concrete yet, just fan hype and speculation. That said, the timing makes sense. Free agency's heating up, and the 2025 NFL Draft is just weeks away. April 24th in Green Bay. Kwesi loves making moves around this time, and with only 4 picks, he might be cooking something big. Could this be it? Or are we getting ahead of ourselves? Here's my plea. Stay tuned, Skull Nation. If this happens, it's seismic, league-shaking stuff. If it doesn't, we've still got a squad that won 14 games. Are you keeping the faith either way? Tell me where your head's at. I'm dying to know. Let's flip the script. What if the Jets say no? Gardner's still got 2 years left, and they could just pay him and build around him. He's 24, a 2-time All-Pro. Why trade that away? New York might think they're closer to fixing things than we realize. For us, it'd sting, but we're not dead in the water. Byron Murphy Jr. is a stud, and we've got draft picks to play with. Maybe Kwesi targets a corner like Malachi Starks from Georgia at number 24 instead. We'd still be a threat, just not the Sauce-level threat we're dreaming of. The tension's real. Every day without news feels like forever. Are you cool with rolling with what we've got? Or is Gardner the hill you're dying on? Let's hash it out. I need your hot takes, Vikings fam. Time to get personal. As a Vikings fan, I've lived through too many almosts. 2017, 2022. Now 2024. 14 wins felt like a promise, but that playoff loss? It's fuel. I want Sauce Gardner because I'm tired of close calls. I want dominance. Think about our history. No Super Bowl, but always in the mix. Gardner could be the guy who changes that narrative. At 24, he's got a decade of prime years left, enough to build a dynasty. Am I crazy for believing this could be our shot? What's your Viking story? Why does this trade matter to you? Drop it in the comments. Let's connect as fans. This rumor's got me fired up, and I know you're feeling it too. Let's keep the energy going. Let's wrap this up with some fire. If we get Sauce Gardner, the NFC better watch out. 14 wins in 2024 was just the start. Add him to the mix, and we're not just contenders, we're predators. Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, they'd be shaking in their boots. Even if it's just a rumor, it's got us talking, dreaming, believing. That's what being a Vikings fan is about. Hope, passion, and a little bit of crazy. I'm obsessed with this idea, and I know you are too. So, what's your final call? Is Sauce coming to Minnesota, or are we hyping ourselves up for nothing? Here's your mission, Skull Nation. Smash that like button if you want this trade, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more Vikings news. Share this with your crew. Let's get the word out. Skull Vikings. Let's make 2025 our year.